Hey everybody, Slothalopolis doing all of the Rocket Leagues, all of the stuff that I was super excited for last week, all the stuff that I made a video about last week. It's finally here, and I'm going to be honest. I thought that the Rocket Pass 3 coming out, which comes out on the 17th, I thought that was going to be the big news that was going to be with all this. Honestly, we got so much more, and there's a lot more layers to all of this than I expected, both with what we got and implications for the future. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Super quick overview. Rocket League update. We got the Esports shop, we got the replay effects, and we got HDR support added for PS4, PS4 Pro, and Xbox One S. So first and foremost, we need to jump in the shop and check out our stuff. So we didn't know exactly what to expect with this. We kind of just didn't get any information, right? But we knew it was going to be all of the stuff for some cool teams. So as we see, we're going to get 6 items, and these items you see in the top left, these first 3 refresh about every 18 hours. So we got a Dominus Cloud9 decal. These decals are not universal. They are only for the car that is shown. You have the Splice decal, which, like, I'm not a big fan of Splice. Love this decal. Love this setup. That snake on the side is super freaking cool. I am like a big snake enthusiast. I was the kid catching snakes all the time when I was younger. Love me some snakes. As you see, I've already bought this decal. I love it. Evil Geniuses looks tough for the Dominus. Really like the color setup there. Not as much contrast as the Cloud9 or the Splice decals. Not super great at, not super keen on the wheels, I guess I should say. Also, the only European item we have the first time around, which is strange. Pretty cool ghost banner, and we got the NRG decal, which I have also bought because this thing is clean as a bean. This thing looks so good, so nice. I'm super excited about this. So I'm gonna go in and we're gonna take a look at some of these now. There's going to be a couple things that you're going to notice with the esports stuff. I cannot select a different decal for each side, meaning my car will always be gold and black. Now, for one, that's cool, because who doesn't want black as their primary? But the other important thing with this is I'm going to go out there and say it is time to get rid of orange team and blue team. And it's time to start doing home and away team, or light colors and dark colors. This is something being discussed at length on Reddit. There's got a lot of support behind it. That is a great way to get psionics to hear us. If that's something that you're into, if that's something that you want, that's a great way to do that. Get on social media, throw it out there, say like, exactly that. I don't think we have to do blue team and orange team anymore. It's time to just open up the color palette, let us have whatever color we want on whatever team we want. Because as we see right here with the Splice decal and then with the NRG decal, my cars are predominantly black, gold and black, and red and black. So this is something that I think is gonna have some implications for us moving forward into the future. This is interesting. This is part of the layers with it. Now with this, you cannot change colors, you cannot change the paint finish. Honestly, I'm cool with all that. I don't want to see Cloud9 in red. That would just look weird. It would look kind of silly and dumb. So I'm okay with them not allowing us to change the colors. And I don't know, maybe I would like to do one decal on one side and one decal on the other, whether it's home and away or whether it's blue and orange, whatever the case may be. So as you see here in the top left and at the top right, there's a lot of reference to esports tokens. These, we're going to get into some of these layers here. So you do not purchase these items straight up with actual money like you do items out of the showroom, which, you know, as you see the showroom here, you spend $3 and you get stuff. With the esports shop, you buy, if I can pull this up here, you buy esports tokens. So the average out, as you can see, if you're buying them individually, about 100 tokens are $1. So you can just kind of say like a token is a penny, right? So that transfers all the way up to like $1. And of course, they're going to encourage you to buy in bulk and give you a discount there. So I went straight for the 600 tokens. I spent $5 and I got the Splice decal and the NRG decal. I don't know if this is how I think this should be done. Um, I'm not quite sure, honestly. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still on the fence about it because, as we have talked about in previous videos, with the challenge section of the Rocket Pass, they're changing how we level up. They're changing how these challenges affect our progression because 10 tier points equals an automatic level up within uh, within the Rocket Pass. So when you level up through experience, you automatically get 10 tier up points. And when you do certain challenges, you get 3 points or 5 points or whatever it is. So they're already adding on top of experience. They're also adding these tier up points and now these esports shop points, and then we still have keys, and then we still have descriptors. There's a lot of things that are used to do a lot of different things. It's weird. I'm kind of feeling like it's a little bit too much, but at the same time, I don't know. Do I actually want to spend keys for these things? Maybe not. But that's something that we can get into for some of our European friends here in just a moment. So, my other question is, why not give us everything? Why not throw everything out there? So I'm gonna throw up on the screen here. We only have these 6 items here, which, as you notice, 1 European item and 5 North American items, which is really interesting to me. But we have codes being given to these esports team members so that they can actually rock their cars immediately. And what we're going to see is Team Secret looks amazing. It's straight black and white. Mouse Esport looks really, really good. The Cloud9, the Octane decal, everybody's chomping at the bit to get. The G2 decal looked really good. All of these things, honestly, I haven't seen one that I'm like, oh, that's ugly, that's terrible. They all look really, really good. I'm not sure I see the point in not giving them all to us straight out and just say, like, buy whatever you want. So it seems like they're kind of following through with, like, I know Fortnite does this, I think CSGO does this, I know Apex does this, where it's just like you come in and you check every couple days and there's new things in the store that you can buy. I don't know if we need that. I'm not, again, I'm on the fence. I don't know how to feel about this. My initial gut reaction is like, nah, dog. Like, I'm not about it. Um, but I don't know. I'd love to hear some feedback. I'd love to see what you guys are thinking, because I'm kind of just like going back and forth in my head and kicking things here and there. So, with all of that said, esports is not the only thing we have, but we also have, we talked about the Rocket Pass challenges. I obviously don't want to just read the patch notes for you. I just want to go through all of this stuff, make sure I don't miss anything important. Replay effects looks really cool. Saw a couple things on Reddit already where people just spent like 5 minutes and messed with things and changed, like, when somebody gets a demo, like you can put, like, what was it, onomatopoeia, where you just say like bang, boom, bow, like old school Batman. I think that's onomatopoeia. Freshman English was a long time ago. You can put things like that, and you can like change the color saturation and stuff. Listed under replay effects is 7 different options, like focus distance, focus blur, focus strength. There's a green screen that you can put on. There's an image filter and an image filter strength. All that stuff. There's a lot you can play with. There's a lot you can mess with if you are indeed a content creator or you just really like messing with replays. I think there's some cool stuff, especially as we introduce these decals and these different wheels for all of these esports teams. I think we're going to come up with some really cool pictures and some really cool gameplay. So one thing I want to take a look at is if we pull up into our crates here, you can see in the bottom left is something that they have added. This is not what I thought we were going to get when I read that the crate drop rates are visible in game. This just tells me if I open a crate, what are my chances of getting each individual thing. This is obviously not for Doc, because Doc's black market percentage chances are way higher, but for the rest of us, they're probably even a little bit lower, and that'll average things out. But supposedly when I open a crate, these are my chances to pull each individual item. What I was anticipating was that we would see which of these crates were going to drop and when. So that is something that I wish we still had. I wish we got it. I think it's definitely time to retire some crates. Who wants overdrive crates? Honestly, who wants velocity crates? I mean, like, turbos and nitros, like, some people still want them, but like, get them out of my face. I don't want them. I don't want the impacts. It's time to like weed out some of these old crates because it's getting crazy. There's no reason to have all these crates anymore. But again, I get sidetracked. I'm very sorry. The important piece here is I think we have the first step towards real life governmental change affecting video games and the way that we get items and the way that we move our markets and get downloaded content, downloadable content. Players in Belgium and the Netherlands are no longer allowed to open crates in game. That has rendered all of their crates as all of their keys, pardon me, as basically trade up fodder. So this is due to local governmental legislation that was passed that said, you know what, these crates and these like loot boxes and all these things inside of video games, they are gambling. And we have unchecked gambling targeting a lot of times younger audiences, and we're not about that. So that is something that has changed. I was able to see from somebody in Belgium that when they try to buy a key, it actually does pop up and say, hey, you're not allowed to open up crates, so you can't use these keys that you're about to buy on crates. Is that still cool? Do you still want to buy them? Which, kudos. I think that's a great way to go about that, because people are still going to want to buy keys to trade for things and get the items that they want, but you're making very clear and you're making very sure that somebody is not buying keys with the intent on using them only to find that they're not going to be able to. So I am genuinely curious if this is going to bring forth further change for us, because I honestly think that the day of the loot boxes, it's coming to an end soon. Because I think we're going to see more and more legislation like this that says, you know, this isn't cool. You can't do that. You can't target these younger players, or even, I mean, not even an age matter, just like incentivizing all of the gambling and stuff. And I think that's gonna go away. So anyway, we have a lot of other stuff. If you were one of the people that got on and played this right after launch, I'm not positive that it was on PS4, but it was indeed on the Xbox. There was a major bug that dropped where we lost the Dominus on Xbox for a little while. We were not allowed to use the Dominus. It disappeared, along with all of the DLC that comes with the Dominus. So like Cristiano wheels, stuff like that. We actually lost all of that stuff for a short period of time. They quickly patched with like a 1500 meg patch that brought everything back. I think basically it just said that whatever they did to the game just said that like we weren't allowed, we didn't have the usage rights for this, like we didn't buy it, but all Xbox comes standard with all of the DLC. So it's crazy. It was weird. There's still a bunch of bugs, and we're gonna go over some of that stuff here in just a second. But the main one is that normal soccer sounds like hoops now. When the ball hits the wall, it sounds like hoops hitting the wall. It's driving me insane. It's like I'm not usually like bothered by little stuff like that. It is absolutely driving me nuts. So in general, you no longer need to add players to trade with them. Finally. So if I try to create a party right here, it's gonna bring up this stuff, and I'm gonna hit X to search, and immediately I can go and enter a gamer tag, and I can try and find the goat. If I can turn my number pad on. There we go. Oh. Don't type in the dark. Don't type in the dark. So I can immediately type that stuff in, and I can send it, and he can immediately get my invite. So awesome. That's going to make trading a lot easier. I might actually trade every now and then. We'll see. Something that I think is really cool, probably mostly for higher level players that I've seen mess with this, steering and aerial sensitivity is now able to be adjusted in the tenths place, or the hundredths place, pardon me, instead of the tenths place. So before you could go from 1.1 directly to 1.2, and now I can go 1.1, 1.12, and all of that. So instantly changes a lot more of that stuff. If you are feeling like your car is strange, if you feel like it's a little heavy or just isn't right, mess with some of that stuff and see what happens. That is something that I have found that really kind of helps mix it up, and it's probably just like a thing that's in my head. It's probably just a placebo, but it works for me. So you are now allowed to reconnect as many times as possible, or as many times as needed, if you get kicked out of a ranked match. So yes, it still sucks that you're getting kicked out of a ranked match, and they are still looking into that. But if I get kicked out multiple times, then I will still be able to get back in. So slight movement forward, slight movement forward. Biomass has been fixed. It no longer clips and unpaints your painted cars. All snowy maps have been added to Snow Day. We're big on that one. Doc and I are really trying to get Blizzard Wizard tags this season. Scanning through large inventories no longer causes your game to crash. This is something that Doc saw a lot as well, and I'm glad that that is gone. I mentioned the very strange ball bouncing sound that sounds like hoops. There is also a bug that is currently causing players to completely lose sound for a period of time, and I've seen conflicting reports on it just kind of fixing itself in the next match or needing to start over or whatever. Psyonix has said that they are planning on being able to fix that in the next patch, but could not do it this time. So all of that put forward, like, it feels like honestly every time we get a patch on this game, every time we get an update on this game, we kind of break it. And I've always been a big Halo fan, and Psyonix is just kind of starting to remind me a little bit of 343, where there's super cool things that I'm really excited for. We get them, and we just totally screw up one other thing. And it's not always a big thing, but sometimes it's just poor decisions. And I'm not like comfortable saying like 100% this is a poor decision with the way they rolled out this esports shop, but it could be. I know I'm not like super wild about it. I'm gonna be buying a ton of these decals. Don't get me wrong, but I think we could do this better, and I think we could support this better. So, if you are still here, bless you. Sorry for all of my ramblings and stuff. I really wanted to get through everything. Honestly, I think there's so many big implications for the stuff that's happening right now, and I don't know. I'd love some feedback. I'd love some extra thoughts. I've got enough voices in my head, but you guys can provide some more, and I'd love to hear back from y'all. Comment all of this with esports, with gambling, everything that we've talked about. I'd love to hear some other opinions and all of that stuff. So there it is. We're gonna try and do a Rocket Pass 3 celebratory stream. We can look at all the items together. We'll hang out. All of our social media and Twitch and all that stuff is in the description below. I'm Sloth. That other dude is Doc. Let us know what you want to see if you're not currently seeing it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, y'all.